Today's administrators have a need to empower help desks and other team members to perform administrative tasks such as resetting passwords. Microsoft 365 offers some default roles and capabilities, but they're often too broad and include permissions you don't want to grant. Sapio 365's Role-Based Access Control feature allows you to create granular roles and scopes, allowing precise empowerment on specific topics and only where needed. Let's take a look. So first, I'll add the appropriate credentials. I'll be creating a service account and a new registered application. Now, this is only used by Sapio 365 unless users are already global admins. What they can do with Sapio 365 is limited by the roles and the scopes that I'm about to show you. I'm going to let Sapio 365 create the user account and application for me. You can use an existing user account by adjusting this section, but we suggest one dedicated to this purpose. So now we have our credentials. If I go to our main page and choose Registered Applications, I can see what I've created so far. There's the application, and there's the service account. Now we need a role. A role is the overall collection of powers, such as the ability to change a password, or get a list of user files, or update group membership, or any combination that you choose to meet your needs. So I've already made a role that I call Read-Only Teams Files that begin with the word Project. Let's take a look at it. Now, the role itself is only setting the broad permissions of what this role can do. Narrowing the power to just the Teams files that begin with the word project is the next part. You can see that currently I just have a role. I don't yet have a scope or any user assigned to the role yet. Now, once you have a role, you then further narrow down the powers by adding scopes to the roles. Think of each scope as a separate subset of the powers granted by the role. You create a separate scope for each limitation. You would do this by going to Scopes and choosing Create. You define the target, the property, the value, and the condition the value must meet. Now, I've made two examples, so let's take a look at them. This scope limits the view to Teams only. This next scope limits the teams to only those that start with the word project in the email. Now I need to assign the scope to the role. You can reuse your scopes by assigning them to multiple roles to create all the empowerment options to meet your needs. So first, I highlight the role I want to assign the scopes to. Now these two scopes are assigned to this role. My final step is to assign a user or users to a role. I could even assign a group, but let's keep it simple for demo purposes. So I'll assign this role to Alex. Let's see what it looks like when Alex logs in. Notice in the information box about the current session, you can see that he is in a role-based access session. His powers are limited to what he was given in the role. For example, if he tries to get a list of all users, the view is empty. And when he chooses all groups and teams, he only sees those that begin with the word project, as that's what we defined in the role for him. Now, if you want this experience to be available to other users on other devices, and we most likely do, you'll want to set up the collaboration feature. You'll set up a connection to a Cosmos DB or Microsoft SQL Server of your choice. Your local database will sync with this so that users you have empowered can take on these roles when and only when they sign into Sapio 365 on their own computers. This by itself adds another layer of security because unlike Microsoft 365 roles that can be used in Microsoft portals and administrative tools, this power only works when you're using Sapio 365. We suggest choosing the Cosmos DB option because Sapio 365 takes care of the setup as long as you have an active Azure account. But if you already have a local or cloud Microsoft SQL Server and you prefer to use that, you can continue to do that as I'm demonstrating here. Just be sure to test your connection before continuing. And you can see that collaboration is now in effect. All users under your license code can now use Sapio 365 on any devices they choose, and they will have the granular powers and permissions of the RBAC role that you have created.